Judgment has been an ingrained habit within humanity for eons, which has generated an intense need to be right and to judge others wrong. However, over the last few decades, an awareness has been growing that judgment does not work, and many are attempting to release themselves from making judgments. Obviously, discernment is needed in your lives as you deal with the issues with which your human state constantly presents you, but you need to discern the difference between the two. Judgment is making someone, including yourself, right or wrong, whereas discernment looks at an issue to see if more information can be found, or to find an alternative approach which can clarify it. You are all one, and so your true nature is to cooperate harmoniously together, creatively and spontaneously, so that what you do produces something fresh and novel to delight you all, and therefore, of course, God, your loving Father. Love is creative, always, and so your nature, being love, is creative. However, in apparently separating yourselves from each other and God, you invoked fear and a very strong sense of insecurity that led to your sensed need for competitive ideas and actions by which you could outsmart one another, and thereby feel somewhat secure in your separation. A state of complete safety or security is impossible to achieve within the illusion because, feeling separated from one another, different, isolated, you feel threatened because you do not understand each other, your thoughts and feelings remain largely private and concealed, and so real trust is impossible. When you have trusted another, that trust has often been betrayed, therefore confirming that to trust another is at best unwise, and at worst quite insane. Nevertheless, trust is an essential aspect of spiritual growth. If you do not trust, then you cannot love, and instead you close yourselves off out of fear, thinking that that will protect you from being betrayed. If you do not trust, if you do not share yourself, it seems that you cannot be betrayed. And, as humans, it does seem that to be discreet in what you share about yourselves is essential for your own safety. Furthermore, you read daily in the mainstream news about identity theft and the suffering to which it can lead when someone's identity is stolen and used for criminal purposes, and this kind of information only strengthens your sense of separation and vulnerability. But to awaken, as is humanity's collective and irreversible intent, you need to remove your masks, your egoic personalities, the unreal identities that you present to the world. Many of you feel that to show the real you is to invite attack on the unworthy and unacceptable selves that you have hidden behind your masks, and will bring you only disdain or contempt. Some of you may attempt to improve or strengthen that false front, that egoic personality, through the use of self-help books or by attendance at workshops and seminars that claim to show you how to become powerful and charismatic. But it will always be false, even though it may be temporarily strengthened and enable you to convince others of your value, while underneath that impressive front that you have built, you will always live in fear that your sensed sense of fraudulence or inadequacy will be discovered. The false you is extremely vulnerable and fearful, and attempting to strengthen it instead of letting it fall away only adds to that fear and sense of vulnerability, causing you great stress. At some point you will have to start to accept the real you, the you that you hide from, or you will effectively either stagnate or self-destruct by aligning permanently with your fear-driven egos, thus preventing yourselves from making further spiritual growth, and thus delaying your awakening. To awaken is to know yourself, and self-knowledge occurs as you begin to let go of your protective masks, and start to accept the selves that for so long you have judged as unworthy and unacceptable. God created you, therefore you are perfect. The unacceptable and unworthy character with whom you have identified and lived so intimately for so long is illusory, and all those apparently more worthy ones who you fear will disdain the real you, are just others, also fearful of their real selves, who are hiding behind their own egoic masks. When you make the choice to accept yourselves and then start to do so, after the initial anxiety that arises as you open up eases, you will find yourselves feeling more relaxed and less stressed, because people, instead of rejecting you, as you possibly feared, will seek you out. Why? Because, by being yourselves, you allow your energy field, which is love, to expand and embrace those with whom you interact. Your acceptance of others draws them to you like moths to a candle. Only they don't get burned and confused, they just blossom in the loving warmth of your presence. You incarnated at this moment in time to be love in action, and to do so you have to drop those fearful masks and disguises and show yourselves as you truly are, beings of love. That is your holy task, and there are millions of you all across the world doing your individual parts and bringing humanity ever closer to the moment of awakening. Making a daily journey within, to your holy and spiritual sanctuary, is essential, and it helps you to release those false egoic self-judgments that undermine your self-confidence and self-acceptance, as you open your hearts to accept the love that surrounds you in every moment. That divine field of love is reality, and it is where you have your eternal and uninterrupted existence. While you rest in that holy place, the illusion will fade briefly from your conscious awareness, allowing you to know that you are eternally loved by God, and to recognize the illusion for what it is, just a diaphanous veil through which the light of God's love is always shining, calling you home. With so very much love,